Hello, I am Dr. Deepti and I welcome you to the third episode in the mini lecture series of the subject Physics of Semiconductor Devices. We began this mini lecture series by understanding the motivation behind learning this particular subject. Then we tried to understand the significance of semiconductors. Today, we are going to get the feel of evolution in semiconductor technology. The most prominent milestone in the history of semiconductor technology took place in 1948. First transistor was invented in Bell Labs in the United States of America in 1948. Now, it has been so many decades and the semiconductor technology has really evolved. In 1960s, there was Moore's law that was being talked about. The Moore's law said that every 2 years, the number of transistors is going to double. Of course, we are talking about the number of transistors involved in an IC or integrated circuit, which are then used to build devices such as computers. Now, if the number of transistors have to double, that means their size needs to become smaller and smaller. In other words, their sizes need to shrink. Only then more number of transistors can be accommodated on the same chip. Of course, when you want to decrease the size of transistors, you need to modify the technology of producing these transistors. You know that computers way back then and computers now are very different. In fact, they have been advancing year to year. And this advancement is possible only due to this fact that we are able to build IC chips with several more number of transistors, leading to efficiency of the same IC chips. Now, before we talk about other things, let us try to understand what exactly is a transistor. You are aware of normal current flow in a wire, right? It just flows from, say, terminal P to terminal Q. What determines how much current will flow there? The voltage that we apply between terminal P and terminal Q. So it is straightforward. Now, when you talk about a transistor, things are a little different. There is a flow of current between points P and Q, but how much current will flow through these points is determined by the voltage applied at another point. We can call it, say, point R. So depending on how much voltage is applied at point R is going to determine how much current flows between points P and Q. Transistors are very interesting kind of components and you can use them for several applications. You can use them as switches, you can use them as amplifiers and so on and so forth. But now, of course, the main talk in the evolution of semiconductor technology is about what nanometer technology it is. For example, you may have heard about Intel 14 nanometer technology or 10 nanometer technology. Of course, you need to know what a nanometer is. Nano is a prefix, just like centi or milli. It basically 1 nanometer basically corresponds to 10 raised to minus 9 meter. That means if you divide 1 meter in 10 raised to 9 parts, well, 10 raised to 9 is a huge number. I'm sure you understand that. If you have difficulty in visualizing this, let me tell you in our day-to-day terms. If you pluck your hair and if you try to cut it thickness wise, not length wise, thickness wise, in around 10 raised to 6 parts. That is a million, 10 million parts. Then you are able to get 1 nanometer. In other words, nanometer is a very, very small measure of length. So the point you need to understand here is that we are moving on to semiconductor devices technology where the numbers are going to become smaller and smaller. Now, the advantage, of course, is the tremendous increase in efficiency. So, this is a glimpse of semiconductor devices technology evolution.